New draft guidelines for the treatment of infertility in England and Wales have been issued by the health watchdog NICE.
Critics are warning that household energy bills could rise by up to £200 a year if a new draft energy bill is approved.
Schools watchdog Ofsted has criticised the way that mathematics is taught and tested in England. The report says both
people with learning disabilities are being left increasingly isolated by cuts to day services, according to information collected by the charity MainCat.
In response to a freedom of local authorities in England said in many cases the charges for those that remained had risen sharply. Nearly 6,000 people put in bogus claims to the Financial Ombudsman last year, trying to get compensation for mis-sold payment protection insurance.
Millions are being encouraged to put in complaints about PPI cover, which was sold, of course, along with loans and credit cards. But among them are large numbers who never had a policy.
The first commercial company hoping to operate a freight service to NASA's space station will try to launch its mission again after a failed attempt over the weekend.
The cost of water pollution in the UK runs into millions of pounds each year and can cause untold damage to the environment.
Now scientists, though, have come up with a novel way to approach the problem in the shape of a robotic fish. Past 6, this is breakfast. These are the main stories this morning. Sweeping the programme this morning, we're asking whether train companies should be allowed
experiences.
Yes.
If you have been on a train, perhaps you don't have the seat reservation, but you do have the ticket. Perhaps you have the printout confirmation, but you don't have the ticket.
It won't help, and you can get fined more than £200. Sometimes if you take the wrong train.
Carol has some special guests this morning to help her present the weather. She's at Marwell Wildlife, which is not easy to say, actually, Carol. Very good morning to you.
It is indeed, Susanna. I was having the same.
And coming up later on breakfast. Were you going to say something?
I was so excited about what's coming up.
OK, coming up later on breakfast. The biggest name of those three, really.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. Watch him drop that name on The Voice on Saturday night.
Time now to get news, travel and weather where you are.
See you in a moment. Hello, this is breakfast. She says, and this is what many people think, if I've got a seat reservation, how could I not have a ticket? Why would you have to charge me again for the ticket?
It all goes wildlife. Morning, Carol.
Good morning.
The way in which we learn it or the way that we're taught it? You see what I mean? We can be reluctant pupils, but if we're not being well taught as well, that's not going to help, is it?
Sure, I think what you get with maths, because math is quite difficult, and math is a right or a wrong answer, and if you start getting the wrong answer, you start to feel disheartened. And also encourage...
I need to tell you, Bill was singing along to all of those songs.
You didn't want to hear it. You really didn't want to hear it.
Next time, we'll bring the studio camera up during that report.
I don't think so. Let's catch up with the progress of the Olympic...
It'd be a real privilege, wouldn't it, carrying that?
It'd be great.
Time now to get the news, travel and weather wherever you are this morning.
Too late to apply.
I know.
And the Home Secretary, Theresa May, will be here with us in just a few minutes' time.
New draft guidelines for the treatment of infertility in England and Wales have been issued by the health watchdog NICE. The recommendation, it's one person complaining 3 times or 5 people complaining about one thing. I mean, already I'm a bit confused about what triggers a response, which will make people think it just has to be an instant response, doesn't it? And I'll take you to, a case that many, many people will be aware of. Fiona Pilkington, who tragically killed herself and her disabled daughter back in... Now, we can't do that.
Well, what I'm asking them to do is to...
Giving
what
them
I'm
less.
asking them to do...
16 minutes past 7. Coming up later on the programme.
I'll be here on the sofa this morning talking about that. Meanwhile, Carol is out at Marwell Wildlife and she's feeding the penguins. Morning, Carol.
Good morning. Look at these wee chaps. They've got...
Vodafone, good news for their shareholders.
Yes, thanks very much. And if you've got questions for the M&S boss, do let us know here. So that's Steph. 26 minutes past 7. You have been sending us tweets and messages about maths this morning because Ofsted has said too many children leaving school without a proper grip on mathematics. And we're simply not going to have enough scientists and engineers. Well, Anthony has got in touch to say 62% of schools are doing well at maths. The other 48% include the school that he went to. I'll give you a moment with that one.
It took me a while. It took me a couple of minutes to get there. I got there in the end. If you add 62 and 48, it's hilarious.
We're talking to maths expert Alex Bellos on what you can do to make numbers fun, because we don't play with them enough. That's the problem for children.
And here's a man who's had plenty to count in his lifetime.
You're going to sign up to a second series of The Voice. Tim puts that question to him. Time now, though, to get the news, travel and weather where you are. See you in a moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's 17 minutes to 8. This is Breakfast. These are the main stories this morning. Also on the programme this morning, we're going to meet the Hollywood actress who expects when you're expecting.
Yeah, and it also deals, actually, one of the characters with infertility and the problems of conceiving as well. Well, Carol has some special guests this morning to help her present the weather. They are fighting already over her. Carol, what's happening now? Have you managed to calm it all down?
Answer this for me. Is there a particular sort of penguin pool fragrance that you're detecting there today? Because it's very much.
Carol, thank you. 12 minutes past 8. Still to come on Breakfast this morning.
Carol's got some special guests.
Numbers in geometry. It's spatial awareness. We've got to be aware, you know, when we see a car coming toward us, sort of the speed, and work out speeds and shapes and positions. And that, basically, it comes down to mathematics.
Please, put us all out of our misery.
Right, OK. There we go.
Well,
yeah, totally, because it's solving a problem. You've got to think outside the box, because actually there's a counter-intuition there, and maths is full of counter-intuitions, which actually is one of the things that makes it really fun.
Do children learn their times tables enough at school?
Do they?
In Japan, they learn it in a nice sort of sing-song way. What do we do? 23 minutes past 8. Soldiers from the Army Air Corps in North Yorkshire are using a training exercise to help create one of the thousands of beacons being built around the UK to mark the Queen's Diamond Jubilee.
It's going to be a big job to lift the 10 tonnes of timber that's needed into place, but they've got our reporter Danny Savage on site, who's going to lend a hand. Morning, Danny. Now, when a privately owned rocket blasts off for a trial run to the International Space Station today, it's going to be carrying more than just food and supplies for the crew.
With half a second to go on Saturday.
The adrenaline that must have been running. Those are the main stories this morning. Here's what's coming up for you on Breakfast. Now, though, let's have a look at the sports news with Sally. Morning. Okay, our next guest has been on the Breakfast sofa a few times before, sharing some of the key moments of her life.
As you can go, you wanted to die.
Yeah, I mean, it's at times it felt impossible, and, you know, I've been the permanent, because I think, you know, when
you've been through an extraordinary amount, and in fact, Simon Cowell calls you the most inspiring person he's met.
A pattern of revival, if you like, that works across the board. I mean, you're talking in the book about sort of, you know, you got pretty much everybody.
I think so.
Isn't it?
Yes, lovely. Tom Jones. Here's another singer, slightly different singer. Once upon a time, Laura Wright was Chorister of the Year. These days, she's more likely to be found singing the national anthem for 80,000 football fans at the FA Cup final, or causing a storm on Twitter with her performance at Dancing on Ice.
And now she's recorded the official Commonwealth Diamond Jubilee anthem. Laura is here. If people want to see you singing, is it going to be an opportunity for not just royalty at this stage?
Oh yeah, I want everyone to hear the song. I mean, I think
Commonwealth flavour really through the instrumentation as well.
Definitely. It's got African vocals. It's got, you know, a classical voice mixing with that. It's got a choir, children's choir. There's everything.
Fantastic, but it sounds like that even is kind of extraordinary.
Embarked on this career, and then you had your first recordings. How is it then that you were serving tables?
This is the thing. I think it's very important to know. And she said, well, we'll see you tomorrow in the studio, kind of thing.
Now, you mentioned that you were really sporty. You've run a number of marathons, haven't you?
Yeah.
Lovely to see you. I think we've got to let you go because you've got an essay to finish.
I have. Got to hand it in today. Don't tell anyone. Yeah.
And you're going to perform before the end of the programme?
Yes.
OK. Gosh, busy life.
Finish that off. We'll go to in the next few minutes.
Laura's new album, Glorious, is released on May the 28th.
Actress Anna Kendrick's going to be here shortly. You'll know her, of course, from Twilight and Up in the Air, and she's in When You're Expecting.
First is What You're Expecting, a last quick look at what's happening where you are.
See you in a moment.
Welcome back.
By the tender age of 12. Our next guest had already been nominated for a Tony Award.
She starred in the 2008 hit film Twilight. She was nominated for an Oscar and a BAFTA for her performance in Up in the Air 2 years ago.
And her new film is What to Expect When You're Expecting, inspired by the best-selling Guide to Pregnancy of the same name, and it has an all-star cast. So, shall we tell you who she is?
And some people are fine with that, and I find myself going a little green when I hear it.
Really interesting, though, and we saw from that shot of the men with the buggies, is actually the roles are reversed, in that mostly the leading female characters are, although they're almost all pregnant, they are
Dan, people won't be able to see how tall you are, and
I'm very petite.
You're very petite.
Yeah.
5 foot.
5'2".
I'm trying to think, what is the BBC theme tune?
What you mean, the news theme?
Not the theme, I don't know.
People will not thank us, although you won't thank us, if we don't say...